My name is Bill Jones. I'm with recapturefederalism.com. Today's presentation is a overview of observation that I have made as a result of educational study, independent study over the past 54 years regarding communism. I've been an anti-communist since 1960. And after all this time, I've decided to make a graphic about the present condition in America. And originally I was going to title it The American Cultural Triangle. And I decided against that and came up with the Secret Silent American Insurrection and Revolutionary Movement. Revolutionary movement, of course, is a communist movement, and the insurrection that I believe that's ongoing right now, which is silent and secret, is a communist insurrection. And I'll get into details on all this area and all these specifics within this graphic. We have the Holy Bible, in my opinion, my view, the Holy Bible, as I see the Holy Bible, it is political science from cover to cover, and I'm going to be getting into that also, as I said, into these individual things. Good government is specified in Paul's letter to the Romans, Romans chapter 13. I'll get into that specifically and talk about that, but that talks about good government and the authority from God, good government. And what we have directly under there, a straight line down, is the system that our founders came up with in 1788, with the Constitutional Convention. And that was a derivative off the previous Articles of Confederation, and as a result of the victory in the American Revolution. But we have, and had then, and we still have now, it still exists. Nobody's changed this. They've made some interpretations. They're trying to destroy it. The communists are trying to destroy it. And what we have is a federal system of America. And the founders and the framers, built that in 1787, and you can read all about it in the Federalist Papers 51, the three pillars of the American government, which is the federal constitution, the state republic constitutions, 50 of them presently, and the opposite of that is communism. It is not good government, it is evil government. To me, it is satanic political theology. And we'll get into that next. There's two general classes, I believe, in the United States. We're not supposed to have any classes at all. We're supposed to have equal protection under the law. But they have decided, and that the communists and those that practice communism, have decided that we have to have class struggle and fighting between groups. And they've decided that they're in their one group, which is the communist criminal class, as I call it. And then the other class is the free citizens class. The free citizen class believes in the federal system of America, believes in the Constitution and constitutional rights and basic human rights, which are specified in the Constitution and in the state constitution, which are really individual, sovereign constitutional republics built within a confederation. Then we go next down to Romans chapter 13, which is again good government, and that's what we have with the federal system of America, good government. The opposite of that is the Communist Confession of Faith. That's right, Communist Confession of Faith. They are a religion. And there are political parties and political individuals and public officials who are operating and practicing the Communist Confession of Faith. They don't publicly acknowledge that. We'll get into the reasons for that also. But it's one side against the other. And under the federal system of America is the idea of love. Love thy neighbor, help thy neighbor, charity. And that's specified in John chapter 15, verse 1 through 17. Christ talks about love. And the opposite, Christ also talked about hate. And that's what you get under communism, is hate. John 15, 18 through 27, and we'll get into that specifically. If you've ever heard anybody who's a real communist, just listen to the hate in their voice, the hate in their feelings towards other people. Under the Holy Bible area, we get into the Judeo-Christian moral code. That's our legal code, our moral code. That's the basis of the federal system of America, is a moral code. And you get over the other side, communism, what do you have? You have violence, combat, illegality. And I'm going to get into specific. They're very good in their documentation. They specify all that out. And we'll get into that specifically later on in further presentations. Then the last thing in the overview here, under the federal system of America and under the Holy Bible, you have individuality. Jews and Christians believe in a personal covenant with God. That's an individual covenant. It's not a class or group. There are classes or groups, but dealing with God, it's a personal thing. It's an individual thing that you have. You have a relationship with God. Over on the other side, communist propaganda and agitation, is all about class warfare. One group against another. And I don't care what the topic is, whether it's homosexuality, supposed inequality. They make up a lot of this stuff. That one group is inferior or superior to the other group. And they'd fight over it. The fight between the so-called proletariat and the bourgeoisie. Of course, they hardly ever mention the leadership because they're the ones that really benefit with this class warfare. And we will be going through, as I say, some future presentations and get into this entirety of this graphic and this movement with specifics in specific areas.